It's just a mom truth that you get halfway through the summer and it's like, okay, time for them to go back.
When your child is struggling in an area of school, what do you do? How do you address that with them?
Hot lunch at school is my number one meal hack for back to school.
I feel like this year may be the year we outgrow the sign, which really breaks my heart.
He has to go to the bathroom by himself. I think that's what also stresses me out.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Everymom group chat. Today's chat will be about everything back to school. I'd love to start with what's one word you'd each use to describe how you feel about back to school this year?
I am feeling excited. I feel like I'm excited on all different fronts. Routine. I'm excited for my kid to be excited about school. He loves school, and I'm excited I don't know. I kind of like the busyness. I know it's a rare bird, but I kind of like it.
My word was ready. I just feel like the juggle of childcare this summer has felt really stressful. We didn't have anything regular in place. So I'm just ready for routine as well. And both my kids are excited too. So that makes me excited.
I'm feeling, and this is two words, but far away. We don't start school until the first week of September, and we pretty much just kind of started our summer vacation. My son is in like 2 weeks of camp and then 3 weeks of another camp that just started 2 days ago. So I'm still feeling like summer just started, but yet he's already picked out a backpack. So it feels like it's a problem for future me.
And I'm feeling nervous. My son is starting preschool, but he's like going into full school from 7:30 to past 3. And I'm like, that's a full school day. And it's new. So yeah, I'm feeling nervous.
For basically Kathy and Megan, who are feeling like excited and ready, do you guys feel like guilty about that? Or it's just a mom truth that you get halfway through the summer and it's like, okay, time for them to go back.
Yeah, I feel like it's the mom truth. To your point, Julia, it's like it is what it is. I am so excited for the routine, but I also think it's kid dependent. My 6-year-old loves school, so I'm excited, and I feel a little guilty about being like, oh, okay, I'm ready to have my just day to day be more routine. But at the same time, I'm like, no, it's good for him. He's excited, and yeah, it's good for all of us.
Yeah, I think if they weren't excited, I might feel more guilty. But yeah, I don't. They're looking forward to seeing their friends. I have one like extroverted kid who just needs activities constantly. So it's just a lot. And she's excited to see friends every day and just get back to that. So no guilt yet.
What are they most excited about? Is it like back to school shopping and like new gear and fun stuff, or just like seeing friends, being back in the swing of their social lives?
Social friends. Yeah.
I think we underestimate how much kids actually love routine and like knowing what to expect day in and day out. My son is like I said, we were just started summer and he's already saying he misses school. He can't wait to go back. He misses his teacher. I do think kids really do thrive on routine.
Yeah, we did our back to school shopping already too, which was a lot. But now I'm like, it was because my going into fourth grader, it was pushing it. But now I feel so stress free. I'm like, we got everything. Everything was in stock. Like she just needs to get her first day of school outfit and then she'll be ready to go.
I felt so sort of overwhelmed when I got to Target and it was that whole back seasonal section went from summer to back to school. And I'm not ready to shop yet, but thinking, oh, wow, what if I don't shop now? When I'm ready to shop in 3 weeks, is it all going to be gone? So I totally understand the feeling of now you're stress free.
Yeah, with that part of it. Mm-hmm.
When you say back to school shopping, Kathy, you mean like supplies?
Yeah, like the school supply list, new backpack. She even got new shoes. Yeah, like all the basics, lunchbox, backpack, and then the school's list of things. They have a lot of really cute like folders and notebooks now.
So many cute folders and notebooks.
Yeah, so I feel like that was fun again for a while. I feel like I don't know if every school's like this, but in early elementary, they don't really get to personalize that much. It's like you need a yellow folder, a blue folder. Yeah. But now she gets to pick her own color binder and her own color like folio thing. So a little more like personality gets to come into it.
Back to school shopping is my everything because that's always been my favorite thing about school shopping and shopping in general. When I was a child, I used to beg for school supplies or to go to Staples for my birthday. Like I love supplies. I don't know why, but I have passed this on to my son. So we make a back to school shopping thing every year. It is our big summer thing. We just take him out to dinner and we go out shopping. We go to Target, which is an hour away from us. So it's a big deal. But he loves it. And so to your point, Kathy, there's not a lot of opportunities for personalization or, to make it personal to them. But we let him pick out some extra notebooks and some extra folders that he picked, a Minecraft binder and things like that he doesn't actually need for school, but he just loves it so much. So it's such a fun thing. But I love back to school shopping.
It is fun.
I'm the same way. I always loved buying, like, and I still do as an adult. Like when we go back to school shopping, I always end up buying him a fun, like a little fun composition notebook. And then I buy one for me too.
Oh, I love that, Robbie. Okay, this is helpful for me too because my son is he keeps talking about how nervous he is, which makes me nervous. And I'm like, that's the thing that I keep talking about. We're going to back to school shopping next week. And I'm hoping that will start all the hype because it's so much fun.
Yeah, it will. That's
I
exciting.
do think the back to school shopping is a really fun way to sort of get them like past the nervousness of it. The one thing we did before my son started full day kindergarten was we practiced for like 3 days leading up to it, walking to school, and this is your school, and this is how you would walk, and this is what you would do. And I think that really helped with the nervousness.
I feel like even with us, like visualizing how it's going to go, like is so like helpful in making things less nervous. I do that with new experiences all the time. You just like need to know what you're getting into. It's funny. I used to love back to school, like supply shopping when I was a kid. But when I think of back to school shopping, my mind goes to like clothes shopping. I feel like that was the one time of year that we did like a haul. I remember like going to the mall with my mom and my sister like all day, and it was like this is your haul for the year, and you're getting like all the new clothes you need, new sizes, new styles, whatever it was. Do you guys do that with your kids too? Like a big like clothes shopping haul? Does anyone go to the mall anymore? Probably not.
Yeah, that's on my fourth grader's wish list for this weekend. We have to go to the mall. But I grew up having a uniform, so I never had that back to school clothes shopping. But yes, I would say both my girls, we do a little mini haul.
My son has the last few years outgrown all of his pants by like May or June. And so then I refuse to buy him new pants over the summer because he's wearing shorts the whole time. And I'm like, I'm not investing in pants at this moment. So usually September, like the first week of September, last week of August, we'll do a little like, okay, you've sized out of all of your pants. Let's go buy new pants.
I have this really distinct memory of me doing my back to school haul fashion show for my dad. And I put on every single new item that I got, which was like 7 things, but I put on every single item that I got. I was decked out. And I remember just doing like a strut, and there's like a core memory. And it actually makes me think about how we don't do back to school shopping clothes version with my son. I mean, he doesn't care that much about clothes, but I'm like, maybe I should do that. Maybe we should, when we get new shoes, maybe we should make it more of a thing. Cause that was such a core memory for me.
I feel like it took my son a minute. He started like last year. We went to the Nike outlet. He got to pick out new sneakers. Like we went to Old Navy. He had never been to an Old Navy before, and he was so excited. And he was like, I want this. And then now if I say, let's go to Old Navy, he's like,
that's so cute. Yeah. I feel like I would put so much stock in my first day of school outfit, and it was inevitably like jeans and a sweater and something that was so not seasonally relevant. Like when I would go back early September, more your timeline, Robbie, but it was still hot. Like what was I? I'd either wear that outfit and be like so uncomfortable and literally sweating, or you just like wear a summer outfit and then your actual first day of school like look would come like 6 weeks later. Like, I don't know.
I went to middle school and high school in Florida. In middle school, we wore a uniform, but in high school, I remember buying like sweaters and things that were like burgundy. And in September in Florida, and it's like 95 degrees, and we're all in our like, Clueless inspired like cardigans, and it was not going well.
Yeah, we like lie to ourselves about it's like I think the first day of school is gonna be like crisp fall.
It's like it's fine, everything's fine.
Yeah, that was always so fun though. I have like such fond school memories growing up. The back to school shopping for clothes and supplies was definitely like a tradition. I think we used to like go out for ice cream after the first day. I'm curious if anyone has any like first day or first week traditions that you guys have kept up or started with your kids.
We do. We have a group. We live in a big building in Brooklyn, and there's a group of kids who are, been together since kindergarten. And then this year, hopefully we'll do it again, but we go out for pizza, moms and kids. It's usually, we say it's the night before school starts, but it's usually 2 nights before, because I think the night before is so chaotic. But we do a pre-back to school pizza dinner with like the moms and kids.
That's so cute.
And
So cute.
Lucas asks for it every year. He's like, "When is our back to school pizza night?"
That's so cute. We do a big breakfast the morning of. Last year I went all out. I'm a little extra, but I made like a menu. I printed off a menu. I mean, it was just like on Canva or something, but I printed off a menu of breakfast and made like a bigger sign and had a balloon. Like that's all it was, but he felt like it was just the coolest thing ever. So that's kind of been our little tradition, like a breakfast cafe moment in the morning.
So stealing that. I love it.
Yeah,
I did that for
really
like the first day of summer, like the first day after the last day of school. I was like, it's the first day of summer, we're going to have a big breakfast buffet. But I'm going to do that for the first day of school.
That's impressive, Megan, because obviously everyone's going to eat breakfast, but like to do all of that, like I feel like the first day is like so chaotic. Like how do you have time to do all that?
Like I said, disclaimer, a little bit extra, but it's like a few little things to make it fun and special. And just his joy is, I mean, he's also extra. I'm breeding this extraness into him, but he just loves it. So it's just a couple printouts and things like that. But I don't know. It's fun. And it's like the same thing I'd be serving anyways, nothing special food wise, but
the menu makes it special and it makes it like an event.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. Yeah.
Do you guys have any like pre-first day of school hacks or tips? Like what are you laying out the clothes? Like what are you preparing? Tell Patty too. Patty needs this for the first day of preschool.
Yeah, like I have ideas on my head, but tell me what's right.
Yeah, like what does the day before the first day look like in terms of prep for you guys?
Like you mentioned, Robbie, at least when my kids were younger, we made sure to visit the school. Like they offer a meet and greet with the teacher. So you get comfortable in the classroom, even though it's literally 15 minutes of seeing their face and their locker and their desk. I feel like just going to school before the first day is really helpful. When I used to be a little bit more extra, Megan, I would like do the flags for like first day of kindergarten. And I think last year I didn't. And so now that tradition is dead. But so for a few years, getting all the props ready the night before, at least maybe a couple days in advance. And like the girls helped decorate their little like flags too. So getting them in on the craft of it was fun. But yeah, as much as you can do ahead of the first day, because for me it always is a bit chaotic.
You still take a picture though, right, Kathy?
Oh yeah, still take a picture. Yes, I would say that's like our only tradition we've kept is like picture in the same spot, individual sisters together, try and get a selfie with the parents. I think we forgot that last year too, just so that we're there too.
You need the picture, even if you don't have the props. I could see going to the props, but like you need the picture.
You need the picture. And it's fun to see how their outfits have evolved. Like my oldest was in like cute dresses in kindergarten, and now she is like full middle school, like t-shirt, hoodie, frown.
The typical like, why are we doing this? She'll thank you one day though when she has the full sequence.
I hope so.
I feel like this year may be the year we outgrow the sign, which really breaks my heart. But I'm always the like chaotic mom, which the night before I'm on Etsy, like printable sign and printing it out at 11 o'clock at night, the night before school starts. But last year he complained about having his photo taken. He's like, Mom, everybody's walking to school. And I feel like this year it'll be the like, I'm not holding a sign. I'm not a baby.
I feel like for me, the key, and this is like the whole year, is do as much prep work the night before or just pre-prep work as possible. So I really try to do the entire lunch the night before. I try to have breakfasts prepped for a few days, and I'll make like a breakfast on a Sunday night, and I'll make a breakfast like midway through like Wednesday, so that we have a couple days of pre-made things, because our mornings are just a little chaotic. And the chaos does not feel good, especially during moments of transition. So just try to have a lot prepped. And then also my hot tip is my son does not do the best with transitions, not from a nervous standpoint, but from an attention and focus standpoint. He gets really ramped up. So I tried to, and he's kind of aging out of this, but Patty, this might be a good idea for you to try. I try to the night before I go to bed, I lay out some sort of activity for him for when he wakes up in the morning. And it's new and it's different every day. So it's literally just me grabbing some blocks and putting them on our coffee table and like putting them out in a pattern or something. That's all it takes. But when he wakes up in the morning, it's like this fun little like, ooh, what am I going to play with when I wake up? And it took me 6 seconds to do, but having that when he wakes up, having him be focused on something exciting and different kind of helped me ease into the morning. And I feel like that helps early in the school year too, especially if you're going into pre-K.
I love that. Okay, but on the topic of prep work, can we also talk about, just because I'm living in this right now, like all this stuff of like, I recently heard Kylie Kelsey talk about this, like, at what point does your child stop wiping their butt? And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. Like, now we're starting school. He has to go to the bathroom by himself, like in a stall, like opening up all the things by himself. I like navigating that. I think that's what also stresses me out.
It's like you focus on like the supplies and the outfits and all the
Yeah.
photo props, but it's also like, wait a second, he's got to like eat his lunch by himself, go to the bathroom, like survive in this classroom without me or the teacher helping hold his hand for every little thing. Like that's a whole level of prep that is a part of this.
Yeah.
I mean, you can prep. I have like a kindergarten horror story when it comes to that I will not share out of like protecting my child's privacy. But you can only prep so much, and you just have to give them the confidence to know that they can do it and start practicing now. Preschool, they wiped their butts, but in kindergarten they don't. He had a hard time kindergarten, like the first month. And then I'm pretty sure he has not gone poop at school since kindergarten because he's so traumatized.
I would say do as much as you can to prep them. Like try to teach him how to do it on his own, or at least do it sufficiently enough to where he feels comfortable. And yeah, I think that's all you can do.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of the kids that I've heard this from other moms just don't go to the bathroom at school.
Oh gosh.
Have him go like after breakfast before you leave and at night. Maybe he'll skip the afternoon.
It's kind of a long time to not go to the
I know. I'm like, if you gotta
It's
go.
so bad. It's honestly, it's become like a weird hang up for my kid. Like it's a whole thing. But I do think like having them practice at home, practice all of those things. Because even eating lunch, because sometimes they have such a short amount of time to eat lunch that they're not used to. You know, normally they sit at home, you can eat lunch until you're done. And at school, they'll have 20 minutes. So have him practice eating on a timer.
Opening the lunchbox,
Opening
all
the
those
lunch,
things.
yeah.
I do feel like some of the like new lunch boxes, you got to get the latches and all of that.
Yeah.
The other thing too that I think is helpful, it was helpful for my son, is talking about what happens if something goes wrong. It's like doomsday prep. So I told him like, what happens if you poop your pants? Like, let's just talk through this scenario, and life's not going to end. And what are you going to say to your teacher? And I feel like that helped him so much to be like, okay, if I can't wipe myself and I have an accident, I'm going to pull my pants up and go tell my teacher I had a problem, versus like crying in the bathroom being like, I don't know what to say in front of my class. So almost that like scenario prepping, I think, can be helpful in those scenarios too.
I did not have that conversation, and I really should have, because we had an explosive situation at school.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. And I do feel like with preschool, they always encourage you to have like a Ziploc with spare clothes in their backpack. So always have that prepped. But yeah, the conversation, Megan, that's a really good tip.
They'll usually keep like a set of clothes, especially at this age. Like bring an extra set of clothes, and then if they use it, they ask you to replace it.
That's all so smart, but even like the conversational part of it, Megan, like them having a teacher in that role and in that way is new too. So it's like, who do you talk to about what? And like, who is your safe person to go talk to when like something goes wrong? I mean, I even think that way sometimes. And it's just like, and we've all been in a situation where it's like, what's the worst case scenario of what happens here? And it's like, how are we dealing with this? Like,
Yeah.
And We all get through it, but we're
I use this scenario on my husband all the time. He gets stressed over things. I'm like, let's talk about the worst thing that could happen. If that's the bottom, we're all good. Okay.
I've like thought that way during my pregnancy. I'm like, what happens if I just need to vomit? Like, you know, figure it out. Like, life goes on.
That's life right there, Julia.
You know,
Yeah.
like, what can you do? You get through scenarios, but it's obviously a good tip to talk to your own kid about all of these possible scenarios. And they're armed with the tools to deal with that. And hopefully they don't have to, but just to like know what to do because all of this is so new.
This applied to my pregnancy too, because I feel like you're so nervous. You start like imagining these situations in your head, but then you just have to tell yourself, everybody does it. Millions of people, billions of people around the world. Kids are going to school every day and you can do it.
Especially like with their peers. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if they're dealing with something, it's like there's a class of what, 20, 30 kids. Like someone else is going through this too at some point that it's like you're not the only one. So, yeah. I was going to say we started talking about lunch. I feel like lunch is a whole thing like to prep for and like I'm talking for the moms. How do you guys is everyone like packing kids lunches? Do you have the opportunity for kids to buy? Like what does lunch prep look like for each of you?
I feel like hot lunch at school is my number one meal hack for back to school. It's like as much as you can just have them buy at school, it just takes one more task off the list. So we like print out the monthly menu and like they mark the ones that when they want to eat that. So like chicken nugget day and pizza day are big hits. So as much as you can have them buy at school, I love that. When it comes to packing, I feel like I used to stress so much about it and it would always be this extra thing. But then I just started making the same thing every day. So we have basically like a formula, like takes 3 minutes. I always know when I'm running low on like key ingredients. So I've definitely simplified that a lot since like the kindergarten days.
And your kids are fine with that? Like they don't mind the
They prefer it because they don't want me like mixing up and giving them like a weird jelly on a sandwich or something. They just want, and it's something that they're going to eat too. Like I know if they like it, then they're going to eat it. Like Robbie said, they have 20 minutes. So many times I feel like in kindergarten and first grade, they would come home like, I'm so hungry. I didn't have time to eat my lunch. And they're socializing during lunch. They like don't remember to eat. So yeah.
I do feel like the mixing up and the variety of kids' lunches is like some unnecessary pressure that moms put on themselves. Like Kathy's kids are proof. They can eat the same thing every day.
Yeah.
We often do that with like work lunches and stuff. It's like you have your couple of go-to throw together midday lunches and it's all you
Yeah. I mean, the
We do the
crackers
same
might
thing.
differentiate. Yeah. But, you know, it's essentially the same.
We do the exact same thing. I learned this midway through kindergarten last year. Why am I trying to serve him things he does not like? Or it's like for the sake of it looking like a healthy lunch. No, I'm going to serve him the exact same thing every single day of the things I know he'll eat because I know he's consuming calories, which ultimately, if I'm not going to get him to eat something very healthy, I need him to eat something with maybe some protein in it. And that's all I care about. And that is something I have released. And it made my life so much better. I could not agree more.
My son's in daycare right now, and we've started to do like this or that. Like, do you want a meat sandwich or do you want a PB&J today? So it like gives him some idea what's for lunch. And I love seeing at the end of the day, like when everything is mostly eaten, I'm like, okay, you weren't starving today. That was my whole goal.
There's nothing like when they come home with an empty lunchbox and you're like, success, I did it. In kindergarten, like preschool, kindergarten, and the beginning of first grade, I packed lunch every single day. And every single day came back either half eaten or like one bite taken out of something. And then one day I like looked at the school lunch menu and they had pizza. And I was like, you know what? You're just going to have pizza today. And then he came back the next day and said he wanted to have school lunch again. And then he started eating cheeseburgers, chicken sandwiches, all these different things he would report he was eating. I'm like, at least you're eating. And in New York City school system, lunch is free. So I'm like, I'm not packing lunch. This is not what I'm going to do today.
That is so nice.
So freeing.
It's like a no-brainer if he'll eat that. It's like, why are we wasting our time?
Why am I like gonna sit and I make him something that's
No
like
reason
so healthy, yeah, and he doesn't eat it. I'm like, as long as you're eating something, and he was trying new things too because he's at school and he doesn't, feels embarrassed to say no. So
I used to love hot lunch, but just thinking back to my experience, like I was bringing cash, like to pay for my lunch every day. Like, what do the kids even do now? Is it like a card or like a?
It's like an online account we have to put money into.
And I think they have like a pin they type in when they're at the end of the line, so it aligns with their account. But yeah, it's all digital these days.
They have to remember their PIN?
Yeah, at our school, which, yeah, my son doesn't know his PIN because he never gets hot lunch, except for, this is a funny story. I got a bill for $35 from lunch, and I send a lunch every single day. So you can imagine my confusion. I asked him about it and I said, "Why are you getting lunch?" And he said, "Well, yeah, sometimes when my friends are in line, I just stand behind them and I get the food and they just know my name and they give me free lunch so that I can keep talking." I'm like, "So you yapped your way through a lunch line for food you didn't need and you just
That's
thought
not
it was
free. That's
Yeah.
not free.
not free." So yeah.
I have a similar
Social.
story, Megan. I think I got a bill for $20 or something for chocolate milk. They were like, "There's free chocolate milk every day at the lunchroom." I'm like, "Not free. It's not free."
it's so funny. My son was asking me literally yesterday. He said, because I think he saw something in a movie or somebody said something at camp about like, oh, my lunch money or whatever. And he said, why don't I bring lunch money to school? We're lucky we have free lunch.
I should ask my parents if they remember because I would love to know like how much I was bringing. I feel like it was like, I don't know.
$2. I feel like we would have those little rubber wallets. I don't know if anyone else remembers that in like the 80s and 90s. That
It
would
must
just
have been like
Yeah.
you go like this and it would open.
Yeah, it would do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
because I feel like I had a couple dollar bills and like I always had change. Like I always needed like a couple of quarters from like,
Yeah.
like $2.75 lunch or whatever.
I
But
remember chocolate milk being 25 cents. That's what I remember.
That's right.
there's something to be sad about the kids having to bring their cash and count out the money because otherwise they're all thinking it's free, which is just so funny.
Mhm.
Wait, so funny. So yesterday he's asking me all these questions about back to school because I said I was having this conversation. And he said, well, what did you want the most when you were a kid, Mom? Did you want an Owala water bottle? And I'm like, kid, we didn't drink water when I was a kid.
I was gonna say, don't even get us started on the whole water conversation because I swear we're the most dehydrated generation of all time. Like,
I'm like, I don't think I owned a water bottle. I don't think I had a sip of water throughout my entire elementary school experience.
No.
Hawaiian
He
punch.
asked me, what did you drink? I'm like, I think I drank Coca-Cola.
I remember standing in line for the water fountain. Like, I don't even know when. Like once a day, like after lunch. Like I don't know what scenario that was, but it's like I would get a sip here and there. Like I don't know, but I certainly didn't have my own water
I
bottle.
didn't have an Owala. I'm like, I grew up in the 1980s.
We all lived to tell the
Right.
tales. We must not have been that dehydrated. We were fine.
My son's day camp had a water boil advisory in that area.
Oh,
So they
no.
couldn't drink out of fountains. They couldn't refill their water bottles. And we sent him with a really big Owala, like one of ours. And he came home from camp and he was like, I'm so parched. I couldn't refill my water bottle all day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's to your point. I didn't drink water from like 1988 through 2011.
Totally.
I feel like water bottles became a thing when I was in college. Like that's
Yeah.
when like the Camelback was like
Yep.
the water bottle. There's
Yep.
always one. Before then, I was just vibing. I wasn't drinking anything. I love to talk to you guys about like apps or platforms, like scheduling platforms, anything you guys do to manage all the school emails. Like, do you have any tips or hacks on like managing the mental load aspect, the paperwork? I guess it's all digital probably, but what do you guys use to keep organized?
My own brain and a note.
I know. I'm like, I don't have hacks. But what I wish I would have done is set up a kid email address or a family email address because somehow I'm the primary and I'm like an inbox 30,000 person. So I've missed so many things. So I think if we had one shared family email that both my husband and I were responsible for checking, we wouldn't have missed as much. And
Yeah, I love that idea. That would be amazing to have one shared email. We have a skylight calendar, and that helps just our whole family in general, not just school specific, but throughout the year for maximum visibility across all parties. So it's just some sort of like shared calendar I think helps too.
And we have a shared Google Calendar, and I will go through and add in any dates that are on their calendar, like days off, vacations, anything like that, so that we know.
Yeah, we have a shared Google Calendar for our whole family too. But because I'm new to this, I seriously had a conversation with my husband, also because we were having this conversation today, just to make sure, like, are you getting the school emails already? And I confirmed he is. And we talked about, like, this is a joint effort. I've heard horror stories where it's like all on the mom. Like, I do not want to do that. So let's have this conversation now because it's already so much before school. So I can't imagine what it's like when you're starting that whole journey with your kids and your whole family with school.
And it's really, there is so much information, and it's really easy to miss. I think just having that shared calendar. For me, if it's not on the calendar, it's not existing.
Yeah. I feel like I've gotten better about as soon as I get a date, immediately put it in the calendar and like send an invite to my husband so he knows too, or else it's gone.
I did have that same conversation with my husband, Patty, of like, do you get the school emails? Do you know? I think he does get them and then doesn't read them. It's a strategy.
But even if they're receiving, don't you even need to like take the system a step further to be like, who is the one adding this to the calendar? Or like,
Yeah.
who is the one responding or signing the things? Because I feel like my husband and I even do that with just like random emails where it's like, we both saw it, we both read it, but we like assumed the other person was going to like take action on it. And it's like,
Yeah.
wait, who's doing that?
Yeah. I think my strategy right now is like we both acknowledge it and then at that moment like decide who's going to take care of it, and I'm going to start from there.
I think it's a good place to start. And then as you see what your needs are, it just depends. I feel like, every school year I think is different. Like depends on the teacher. Like we've had teachers that are so communicative and ask a lot of like from parents, and we have teachers who are much more relaxed. So it changes a little bit. We do not get that much communication from the school. But then all of a sudden it all happens at once. So just be prepared for May because it does all happen all at the same time.
On the topic of busyness and schedules, I have a question for the group. I've seen a lot of online sentiment about like let's not be busy all the time. Like let's not do all the sports, let's not do all the extracurriculars. It's not good for our kids. But I have a confession. I think my child and my family seems to operate better when we are busy. And so I'm curious how you guys are. All of your families are. Do you guys operate better when you're have less going on and this is a struggle? Or do you guys operate better when it's kind of like busy, busy, busy?
We operate better when it's more mellow, but unfortunately, like I need the childcare. So the busyness is the childcare. He has to be in after school activities every day. He has to have something going on after school. But I think he has complained is not the right word, but demonstrated, I wish I just had a day to come home and play with my friends. And I do think this generation, it's funny because we keep talking about this like 90s summer sentiment. And I think this generation of kids doesn't have that like, oh, I just came home after school and played with my friends because they are so scheduled. But at the same time, I need the childcare and I need him to be doing something. I want him to be exposed to all sorts of different things. So I don't know. I think there's a balance between finding the places where you can be less scheduled and, but I also have a kid who's not super into sports. So finding things for him to do is a little bit different.
I feel like my kids are so different that when one of them operates well when she has all the activities. She wants to do them all. Like we have to pull her back because we just simply need a break from driving to set activities. But then my other one will just gladly stay at home, watch TV after school, like occasionally play with a friend, or like they'll go walk the dogs together or something like that. So it definitely, we're still struggle with this a little bit. We are starting travel sports for the first year. And so managing that extra, like we've had to say, okay, you can do this and then one other thing, because we just can't be all the places. I feel like I honestly haven't seen my husband in like a couple weeks because we're just driving to different activities. So it's a balance.
And it seems like it's really like kid specific too.
Yeah. Like my little one who wants all the activities, if she's not in them, she's here bothering me. Right here. I need something to do. Can you schedule me a play date?
Yeah, I think that's the part that I'm struggling with because I want my son to do all the things. I mean, we're also like a let's do one thing a weekend kind of family, and like that's all we're going to do. We're not going to overwork ourselves. But with school and sports, like if he wants to do it, I also don't want to say no to it, because I want him to experience all the things and decide what he wants to do. So we'll see.
It's also very expensive.
Yeah.
Every activity is like hundreds of dollars a month and, costs money for equipment. Like, I can't imagine sports. Like, my sister's kids did hockey growing up, and like the amount of gear you need and the amount of things you need to buy. And it's just every time we sign up for something new, like he wanted to play tennis, and it was like, you must pay $800 to be a member, and then the fee per class. And it's like, it's just crazy.
I was gonna say it also must be hard, like, to your point, Patty, like if your son wants to do all the things, like he probably also doesn't have a good understanding at his age of like how much time in his day that'll all take up. So it's like, how do you manage their expectations and their time? Because they also can't be exhausted and overscheduled. And like, we all have things we aim to do after work, even if it's just like around the house. And it's like, by the time the day is over, it's like you're tired and you have to eat dinner and you're just like, you melt into the couch. So striking that balance as a family, but also for them individually of like, you can't overextend yourself.
Yeah, I think I remember my mom having that conversation with me when I was younger, and just being like, I know that you like this, but also at any point, if you evaluate yourself and you decide this is not the thing for you, like just let me know. We can stop, we can move on to the next thing, but communicate that.
It gets more I feel like the preschool, kindergarten years, you're trying out different things. You don't have homework. It's not as much of a commitment. I think as they get a little bit older and you do have homework and it becomes a commitment, and then you have afternoon practice until 6, but then you have to come home and you have to do homework for an hour, and you want to get in bed early, and then you have to cook dinner. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest surprises for me in like the 5th to 6th grade transition. The amount of time I have to spend helping with homework. I'm like, this is another job. Like, it's an hour and I don't totally know how to help. And it takes away the time. It's just one more thing taking up our days.
How do you help with homework? Like, are they learning? I feel
It's
like
like emotional support. I feel like mostly. Again, with the apps, there's like this hub where all the assignments live. So we had a lot of things falling through the cracks because we put like too much onus on our daughter to be on top of it. And she was missing things. So we had to we have a heavier hand in it and be a little bit more involved. So yeah, I feel like where I'm helping, it's more like organization, making sure she sits down to take the time to do it. She doesn't wait till like 7:30, and I'm asking, do you have homework tonight? And she's like, oh yeah. And then, we're up until bedtime doing homework and getting frustrated and in tears. So yeah, a lot of it is emotional support, helping her with organization, and then like snacks. So
keep the motivation going.
yeah, I feel like it's the math. It's like all the memes.
Oh, the math.
Like really so hard. Like, it is not how we learned. And there's a lot
What I was going to say is, it's like, how do you help with homework when it's not the way we learned? It's like,
there's a lot of YouTube videos.
A lot of YouTube.
And then her teacher this year had how-to videos on there. So we would have to watch the video and then do the homework. And I'm like, what are they doing in school?
How much homework do your kids have on average every night?
I would say for middle school, it's probably like a half hour to an hour. I think in 5th grade, I remember the teacher saying, like, if it takes them more than 20 minutes, that's too long, like send us a note. And we were going over a lot. So I think, again, it just like depends on the kid. But I do think getting in the habit of setting time aside, even when they're younger, if they have like a worksheet to do, it's like the after school time gets away from you so quickly with like finishing up work, having dinner, having an activity. It's like there were so many nights last year that it would come around to like 7:45, 8 o'clock, and I would then ask about the homework and we'd have to scramble, and then it was extra stressful. So I'm trying to be better at that this year.
I did that a lot in kindergarten because we didn't have homework in kindergarten and 1st grade. and just carved 20 to 30 minutes a day that he had to do a worksheet or sit down and read or sit down and like write something now. And even days that he does not have homework, we try to do that. I actually have been
So good.
meaning to do that now because I think for me with homework, it's really, I didn't have a good homework routine as a kid. And I really want him to just like, it's just like brushing your teeth before you leave the house. Like you just come home, you do your homework, it's done, and then you can go play and hang out. So I would love to have him be in that mindset, especially by the time you get to middle school, because I think it does get
Yeah, you need it.
It's a whole time management learning curve that, I mean, their day at school is so scheduled and predictable, but then, yeah, having to set aside work time to do homework. I guess we all learned to do it once upon a time too, but it's like
Yeah.
a whole parenting thing I don't even think about.
Well, it's hard also is like if you're, a parent who's working from home and then your kid comes home from school and you're trying to finish up work and they need to be guided in a way or told like, hey, now it's time to go sit down. And then it just interferes with your work. It's very stressful. Homework is a very stressful topic.
Yeah, how do you guys even deal with, because homework is already stressful enough, and I feel like I already have like a few years until this actually hits, but like when your child is struggling in an area of school, like what do you do? How do you address that with them?
I feel like the biggest thing was raising the flag with the teacher. For us, like I don't know if I just didn't think about it, but we reached out. I think this was like third or fourth grade. My daughter was really struggling with math, and we reached out to her teacher, and her teacher was so wonderful. She was like, well, actually, like I offer these like small group little like sessions in the class, and your daughter isn't taking advantage. She like prefers to like be talking with her friends. So and her teacher wasn't going to force her to do this. So we had to then have the conversation like, you need to be doing this extra help. And then, it won't be such a struggle. And I think homework was also optional at that point. And so we realized she really did have to do the homework. Like she had to practice. So I think reaching out to the teacher if they're struggling was one of my biggest learnings because they can be really helpful. And we learned stuff that was happening in the classroom that we had no idea.
That was something that I struggled with in kindergarten. So in kindergarten, and my assumption in first grade, we don't have as much homework as you guys see in later elementary. We don't have constant touch points with the teacher. So I felt like, do I know how my child is doing? Do I know? How is he doing? Is he struggling with anything? So we opened up a line of communication with his teacher pretty early on. My child has ADHD. So that was like a natural integration to kind of an extra communication with her. But I recommend that to any parent. If you have a question on how your child is doing, even to hear they're doing great feels great to know where they're standing. But that's a big adjustment, I think, to go from the daycare realm where it's all fun and you might hear about developmental things, but you're just a lot of touch, a lot of hands-on with the caregivers. And then you get into pre-K and kindergarten and so on, and it's less touch point. And I think each year it's just less and less hands-on with the parents. They're going to put more stock into the kids, communicating to parents. So anyways, having a touch point with the teacher outside of what they already scheduled, outside of those parent-teacher conferences, helped me have peace of mind too, to know where he was doing.
I will say I volunteered to be class parent to have a little bit more of a relationship with the teacher. Because I always was under the assumption of like, no news is good news. Like if something is going wrong, they will let me know and they will reach out, which does happen. But just having that rapport with the teacher where like you have a communication established already makes it much more comfortable for you to be able to say, hey, I've noticed they're not, having a really hard time with fractions, and is there anything I can do at home? But I think always reaching out is a good idea. But I will recommend, even though it was very stressful, especially at the end of the year, but I think both times that I volunteered to be class parent, I feel like were really helpful for him, for me to be integrated in the community and be part of his classroom essentially, because I think it just gets you that extra little bit of relationship with the teacher. And then you also get to know all the kids because you get to know all the parents. And so you have to know whose parent is whose kid. So then you end up having a better just understanding of what their classroom structure is like.
Have any of you ever dealt with a scenario where your child is like not vibing with their teacher's teaching style? and that's like been a struggle, or like a scenario where they had to like switch teachers or anything. I feel like I dealt with that a little bit growing up, and that's challenging as a parent, I would imagine.
We've been lucky. My son's teachers have all been amazing. He's definitely very emotional and has big feelings. And I think second grade was a really hard grade for him. So I think we definitely had touch points with the teacher of like, you need to talk to him. His feelings are getting very big in the classroom, but never like a not vibing. I think he's always loved his teachers. We've been lucky.
We had a not vibe, and now that she's older and able to talk more about it, I think it was the classroom dynamics, not necessarily the teacher. And honestly, it was sort of just like, we just have to get through it. Like, there's no classroom switching. Like, there's nothing that can be done. I talked to some other parents about it to at least get some like solidarity that it wasn't just us and just my kid having trouble with it, but sometimes it's just the mix of the classroom is not vibing with everything. So it's tough. That was a tough year, but overall we've been lucky too.
It's also like a good lesson to learn, though, that like sometimes you can't like there's only so much you can do to change the situation. So how do you work together, either like parent to child or child, like all the kids in the class, make it the best case scenario?
Yeah.
Talking about like vibing, my number one stress for the school year is the social aspect of school. The academics are one thing. To me, that's more cut and dry, but the social growth, interaction, all of that is my number one stressor. And so I can see how like a dynamic would be a stressful situation. You can't fix it. It's not on paper.
That's my biggest stressor too. And I feel like every year at the beginning of the year, they sort of like shuffle the decks and then put the kids with like all new kids. And then so my son has a hard time making friends and he has to start all the way over. And then by the end of the year, he usually figures out some friends and feels comfortable in the classroom. And then the next year, we get the class list and it's like, okay, you're with all new kids. And I'm really hopeful that this year he'll be with some kids that he's friends with, but that's hard. I feel the same way, Megan. I think the academic portion of it usually tends to work itself out, and just the social dynamics and having them thrive as part of a community and teaching them how to be kind to someone or how to not like somebody and not vibe with somebody and still treat them with respect. That's always the social emotional is always my biggest concern too.
As a closing question to the group, I'd love for each of you to share one piece of advice that you can either give a parent like Patty entering the school year for the first time, or even a piece of advice that was once given to you that like really stuck with you and has helped you over the years.
I feel like one of mine a mistake I made as a kindergarten parent was I signed up for like every volunteer thing at the beginning of the year. And some of them didn't even involve kindergartners. So I'm like, my kid isn't even seeing me at this like book club thing. So I feel like really focusing on like what interests you and where your kid wants you to show up, and then what's possible. Like I think in kindergarten, I was only working part-time. I had more hours. So like, look at your life, what's possible. Like, can you only attend a class party and drive for one field trip? Like, that's okay. That's enough. Like, don't feel like every email that's sent out that's asking for volunteers, you have to sign up for. It's like you have to be realistic. As long as you're doing some of it and your kid knows what to expect, then, you're doing okay. It's like, don't have the school volunteering be one more super stressful part of life.
My biggest school advice, and just nobody's doing it perfectly. And if you think somebody is doing it perfectly, it's just because you don't know their day to day. Everyone is doing the best they can. And even the mom that seems like super together at pickup and drop off and is like always there and is always volunteering is still not doing it perfectly. And so don't, stack yourself up against anybody. Everybody's doing the best they can.
Yeah, I would say for me, building a community for your child is such an important part of their young adolescence. If you can work your way through the elementary age by connecting with other parents, by connecting with your child's friends' parents, connecting with staff, not just the teacher, just kind of building rapport and community for your child, then their support network is bigger than you. And you're not there with your child all day. those other people, other kids are. So to kind of build that up, I think helps on all aspects, academic, social, all of it.
That's good. I feel like for me, since I'm the newbie to the school world, I don't necessarily have advice, but I do have a goal for myself this year. And that's kind of, I think the overall umbrella is just like no pressure. Like, don't put so much pressure on myself and don't put so much pressure on my son. And if we can get through the school year with that in mind, I will be okay.
Love that.
Yeah, that's good advice. Well, thanks everybody for joining today's call and discussion about all things back to school. And thanks for those of you watching. The Everymom's website has tons of helpful resources and lots of articles on this very topic. We even have a back to school hub that is a helpful guide for moms by moms on all things back to school. So check that out on our website, theeverymom.com, and give us a follow at The Everymom for even more helpful tips and hacks and videos. Thanks, everybody.
Happy back to school.